Now we can install the pivot plates. We typically, by default, show these at the far side of the main extrusion piece. In the sample that we showed at the beginning of this video series, we had that awesome setup within the middle. That allows for further reach of the end effector relative to the stand. These are mirrors of each other, so they're not the same part. One should be labeled 1, the other 2. So if you're printing these at home, make sure you print a 1 and a 2 piece. We have our 8 3D printed spacers, 6 of our M6 by 25 screws, 2 M6 by 25 handles. These are the shorter of the 2 lengths, our T-nuts, and our M6 washers. So for this, we generally, under all the fasteners in this assembly, put these spacers. So we put these spacers under basically all the screws in this assembly. This is just to distribute the load. So for these bottom pieces, we'll put in these metal washers into here. If you're using Loctite, apply some Loctite to the bolt. And a T-nut at the bottom. I just put these in loosely so that we can easily slide them onto the extrusion after. We'll repeat these 2 bottom pieces, both have washers, and then the M6 by 25 bolt. And this is what's getting mounted onto the extrusion. Again, leave a gap so it can fit on the extrusion. This is what becomes the pivot point. And to allow this pivot to move relative to this piece without loosening the screw, we do not put a washer under this screw. So we still use the spacer, an M6 by 25 screw, but no washer, and that allows this to stick out just slightly further than the other ones and bite into the extrusion, and that keeps it from turning. We'll still put our T-nut on here. And finally, we have the handle assemblies. We'll take a spacer, put in a washer, feed it through here, and now we'll put this grippy rubber washer underneath that. That's what sort of gives the friction between the 3D printed parts so they don't slide. We'll feed that through this, this channel here, and then again, we'll put a T-nut on the back here. It's important, if you are using Loctite, do not put Loctite on this one. We want these to be easy to move once they're installed. In fact, I will sometimes, would recommend putting, if you have a little bit of grease, a little bit of oil, anything just to make this part easy to turn so it doesn't get stuck or jammed while you're using it. So that's one completed side. We'll repeat it on the other. Again, make sure you have the washers. Put our T-nuts on, get them partially engaged. These are the ones that go on the extrusion. Rubber metal washers under each of these with the T-nut. Then we'll do the pivot, and the pivot, I've lost my last spacer. Let me just grab another one of those. The pivot, again, no washer under the pivot. Metal washer in here. Put it through. Rubber washer. Be careful with these rubber washers and Loctite. You want to make sure your hands are clean when you're doing the rubber part. You don't want to get any on here. It doesn't interact well with the rubber and they can degrade it a bit. And then we put our T-nuts onto the end of that. And that's our second one complete.